you don't normally have a court reporter for that.
Okay, but if you want to, you know, rearrange the agenda a little bit.
Well, let's talk to Mr. Rowley,
Sure.
that he's in charge of the agenda.
Okay.
Hey, what's your name?
Karen Brown.
Kevin, we know each other.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you need another business card, but
Sure, it's
see it.
always nice to have one, thank you. What's down to your left there? One available? It has a power strip somewhere. I don't know where it is. Let me look back here. I think it's underneath her desk about where her feet are.
Yeah. We'll do That's why Chris calls in.
Hi, how are you tonight?
Good. How's yourself?
Can't complain.
Good.
Well,
Where's the weight?
What, sir?
hey, Rogers,
Oh, yeah.
time break?
Oh, yeah.
He's recovering from multiple surgery through last
Not sure where you need it.
Somewhere.
Right here.
Well, we need a extension cord.
Yeah, anywhere over here to fit.
Huh?
As far as it'll fit.
It will go right here.
I'm not looking for it. You can set it all in here.
I need to plug it in. I have plenty of this cord. I need power cord.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. If there's a extension cord, it's no
we're gonna
problem.
get rid of power.
Other than the 50-foot orange.
Yeah, that'll work.
One out there.
One out in the garage, right?
Where you plug it,
Huh?
where you have to go to from, where.
No, it's a power source.
Yeah.
He wants that phone over there, which is fine, but I just need a longer power source.
Yeah.
That's all. See?
There it is.
There, that's what we thought.
That's the one I talked to.
Here, I can plug it in over here.
Oh, okay, great. Maybe for, 6 months.
Yeah, just say, can you say right up here?
Yeah. Around this way. Yeah, just sit between us.
It's gonna have to go through, since we flood. Got plenty of court there.
Yeah, single, thing.
Oh, the phone.
Yeah. Let's start from the top. Yeah, you can get my phone. This thing is working.
When we get to the bank function,
You say it ain't working?
Yeah.
1240 371
That's 731.
731. I'm sorry.
Can't read this, Southwest.
428.
That, yeah, when we get to that, township reports, it'll be good. If you have anything to report, you wrote it, yeah, go about it.
No, I didn't get it. Can you hear me? Yeah, all right, so we're gonna start the meeting here now that we got you on the phone, and, then once we, go into,
You're fine. You just put it on speaker. You're fine.
all right, we're gonna go ahead and take the pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Wendy, could you please now do this roll call?
Mr. Barlow,
Here.
Mr. Keibel,
Here.
Mr. Hill,
At this time, we're gonna have Kevin from, RJ Halls to give us a presentation for the annual pension plan.
All right, very good. Well, good evening, everyone. I think what we'll start with is a recap of 2024, and then we'll move into the investment report. And after the investment report, we can touch on a few investment changes that I'm going to recommend here shortly. What happened in 2024 is, well, the plan finished 8.24% in the positive. We had a good year. We were actually quite a bit higher, right up until December 18th when the Fed had their meeting, and the outlook changed for the interest rate cuts that were supposed to be happening here in 2025. It dropped from about 4 to 2, and in that situation, I think the overall market dropped about 5–6%. We did recover some of that here in January. We were doing pretty well up until China released a new AI startup called DeepSeek, which had an impact of, well, in particular, NVIDIA lost $600 billion. They made up about half of that more recently. Where we stand right now is about 1.95% in the positive. What's going to impact the market going forward this year is going to be, well, we're seeing some of it already with the tariff situation. We're seeing some of that from yesterday even to today. We can see the market volatility that's going to be followed based on whatever kind of tariffs are put forward. Inflation is still a hot topic. We were at its peak around 8–9%, and now we're down to 3, but the target is still 2. And the Fed is, you know, in the last meeting they had here, you know, there were no rate cuts, and I think we're gonna stay that way probably through the first quarter into the second quarter. The expectation is about 2 cuts this year, I think, 1 to 2. Overall, the U.S. economy does remain resilient. We are still the highest performing economy right now worldwide. We have some of the best performing companies out in California, large tech stocks in particular, have been what's driving the market. The S&P 500 is made up obviously of 500, but of those 500, about 7 of them, they call them the Mag 7, have been what's been driving the marketplace. I do think once we have a few more rate cuts, we're going to see some of the small mid-cap equities start to perform a little more, as those businesses do rely on more cash flow, loans if you will, from the bank. But I do expect 2025 to be another year of gains, not quite as significant as we saw last year, but there should be slow and steady growth through the year. If you will look at your investment report, it does say Liberty Township Police Contract 615480, and if you flip it open to the first 2 pages, what you'll see here is a lay of the land, if you will, from the beginning of the year, January 1, 2024, through the year end, 12/31/2024. And we have the beginning balances, the percentage breakdown, and the ending balances. Everything is color coded. You can see the broad asset classes in the blue. If we start at the top on page 2, large U.S. equity, moved into small mid-U.S. equity, then global international real estate, and then of course fixed income there at the bottom. You started last year at 403,000, ended about 413, and as of the 31st, of course, we were at 8.24%. The changes that I'm going to recommend that we make are going to be based off of principal on the larger whole. There is a paid service that we utilize as well. There have been some changes due to the accounts that are currently on the watch list, one of which is in the mid-cap growth space. It's going to be Robert Baird and Eagle Asset Management. It's right there in the middle of the page on page 2. I'm proposing that we move that account at 2.05%, and then it be added to what's called the mid-cap S&P 400. And the reason behind that is twofold. 1, better performance, and 2, it's going to reduce the investment expense associated with the portfolio.
You're asking to move that one and put it where?
It's what's called the S&P 400. It's going to be Principal's mid-cap account. It's the mid-cap index account. And I did provide you a sheet as well that you can see. It looks like this right here. And what's on there is going to be currently where the investments are and the percentages associated with it. And then I have some that are in the red and some that are in green there.
Yes.
And the idea is the ones in red are the ones that we're going to move, and they're going to move into the ones in green. So the Robert Baird Eagle Mid-Cap Growth 3 is going to move to the one directly beneath that, which is going to be the Mid-Cap S&P 400. And then we have 2 others beneath that. You can see it says Small Cap Separate and Small Cap Value 2.
Right.
Those 2, we would move both of them into what's called the S&P 600. And in the process of this moving, we would rebalance the portfolio as well. And you can see the percentages on the far right-hand side of the page where it says old target and then new target.
Yeah.
You can see the existing percentages and then where I propose that we move them to, which would bring us closer to our overall 60-40 allocation, which is the target.
Okay.
We do have an outstanding basically investment change that hasn't hit yet, and that's going to be the last one on this page. It's going to be a U.S. property account. That is ultimately going to end at about 8%, but that's not going to take effect until probably the end of the second quarter of this year. And that's a contractual issue within that account. Principal can put a hold on it, and they did, but they have to process all of the withdrawal requests by the end of the second quarter. So at that time, that U.S. property account will move to 8%, and the remainder, whatever's left from there, will then go to the S&P 500. That was the initial move that we made. Geez, that would have been probably the middle of last year, if not before that.
Right.
So that's where we stand in pages 2 and 3. If you turn over to page 4 of your investment report, you'll see the 2 pie charts. Where we are on the left-hand side is January 1st of 24, and then on the right-hand side, as of the end of the year, and you can see how some of these accounts have appreciated, and we also had, I believe, along the way, one investment change, or excuse me, investment rebalance. But ultimately, what this is showing is the large cap U.S. equities performed well, which they did, and increased from 28.7 to 34. And if you go around, that's going to be the big blue slice of the pie there.
Yeah.
If you go around clockwise, you're gonna see the fixed side of the investments here at 40.48% as of January 1st, and 12/31 it was 33. That's not necessarily underperformance, that's also where the investment expenses are coming from for the accounts. So that's what helps drop that, unfortunately. The green
Not
piece.
9% of that is due to expenses?
No, some of it's investment loss, some of it is expenses to principal. So that's not only investment expense, that's record keeping costs, that's everything.
Is that your fees?
Our fees are, I believe, 25 basis points, and that is going to be coming from, it's just on the assets, but it's not necessarily that particular account. I believe it comes from the sampling of all accounts. Moving on to page 5, these are the investment returns in the portfolio through the end of the year. And you can see that first column illustrates what happened in December. We had a pretty, obviously, about the second week, it was the 18th, is where we saw, third week, we saw that drop down there from the investment side. Year to date, though, we still finished strongly in most of these. I will say, the one at the bottom of the page is where I'm proposing we move the mid caps to. That's the mid-cap S&P. You can see it finished last year 13.5. If you flip to the next page, the top of 6, the second one down from the top, you'll see Baird and Eagle. That is the one mid-cap growth 3 that I'm suggesting we move out of. And you can see why if you look at the performance numbers. It was 7.22 versus the index of 22. So it wasn't a negative number, but it wasn't obviously what it should have been. Moving into the small value space, you can see Vaughan Nelson H&W, that's your small value, and then your small cap separate account. That small cap separate account, which is the second one down under small blend, that is the one that's also on the watch list. So we're going to be taking those two, the small value and the small blend account, and moving them into the S&P 600, which is directly above that one.
Right.
So those are the two changes. I'm not going to go through each one of these unless someone wants me to or has questions about them. But ultimately, the takeaway is that most of the accounts performed fairly close to the index. The ones that did not are on the watch list, and those are the ones we're basically liquidating and moving to a different investment. If you turn over to page 7, you can see the fixed income side of the portfolio at the bottom, and that's going to show you that basically the high yield bond space is what really drove the market last year. The corporate bonds and the government-backed securities did not perform quite as well as we saw from the high yield accounts. Going forward, if you look at page 12 and 13, this is going to represent principal's due diligence process. This happens once a quarter, and what this reflects is not only quantitative, which is performance, but qualitative, which is everything that falls outside of that. So if there's an underlying investment strategy change, if there's an analyst or an investment manager that leaves the portfolio, that would be captured under the qualitative side. But on page 12, you can see the 2 blue boxes there that kind of catch your eye. Those are what's called the watch list. And just as a little bit of a refresher, the watch list is a 12-month timeline where those 2 managers, with the first one, Baird and Eagle, usually have a 12-month time period to basically perform and get themselves back out of that watch list. But that being said, they are not always granted that amount of time. And in this particular situation, I'm recommending that we move away from them to a more profitable investment. And then on the bottom, page 12, similar situation, small cap separate account, underperforming the benchmark there, and I'm suggesting we move that as well. The rest of the accounts, even though you may see some that are in a less favorable condition, or it says probation is better than the watch list. That one on page 12, that T. Rowe Price and Brown, that one was on the watch list. It's improved slightly, and now it's on probation. So
Let's see. When it has that score, 10, and then you drop down to 1.25, that's indicating that it's not in a good favor at all?
correct. It's as you would think, 10 being the highest, 1 being or 0 being the lowest, basically. But yeah, so that account in particular, and the reason that one has fallen behind is because if we mentioned the Magnificent 7 previously. That actively managed large growth account does not hold the same weightings to those 7 stocks as the index does.
Okay.
That just goes against the active management investment style, if you will. They're not going to have that same weightings, and that's the reason that they fell behind. basically, because those, I mean, if we look at what happened in 2024, you back out those 7 stocks, the S&P 500 in net is about 0 or negative. Those 7 stocks drove the entire 22% investment return we saw from the S&P. So, yeah, they're the ones that have been dominating the market. NVIDIA in particular is just unbelievably, the performance is through the roof. It's astronomical. Page 13, nothing really of note there. We do have an international small cap separate account that's listed as on probation. We don't have any assets invested in that particular investment. And that's it, more or less. What's left in the report on pages 15, 16, and 17 is the same information, but they track it by quarter.
Right.
So if you start on the right-hand side of the page and work your way back to the left, you can see how those accounts are trending. And then the last few pages, there's gonna be benchmark descriptions, glossary of terms, and that sort of thing. I'm not going to review what else is in here is your actuarial report, but this is kind of old news at this point. This is your 1/1/23 report, based off of data from 21 and 22. I think just to kind of recap, this year we're gonna have another actuarial report, and it's gonna be based off of 23 and 24's data for the 1/1/25 report. Where we finished 2023, 10.85% positive, and where we finished 24, 8.24% positive. So we add those two together, you have a 19% positive return, 19.09, versus the assumption in the plan of 11.5%. So the takeaway is that we're gonna have a surplus of funds, and from a funding standpoint, I believe you're somewhere in the 200% range, 238% funded as of 1/1/23. So you're in good shape, and that's gonna go up from there. I don't foresee any changes to the assumptions in your actuarial report. Your interest assumption, which is what we assume the investments are gonna make, is right where it needs to be for 60/40. It's actually a little bit conservative, it's at 5.75%, which is good. Ultimately, they range anywhere from 5.5 up to 8. And I think the lower end is obviously better because it helps align the investment performance with the expectation of the report. So that's a good thing. But that should be coming out here, I believe, before the end of the second quarter. This one was done in July of 23, so I would expect this would probably follow similar to that format, be done in July. But that's all I have to basically propose today, just those investment changes that are on that sheet.
All right, so we need to make a motion for you to change, make those investment moves.
And rebalance the portfolio.
Yep, I'll make a motion that Kevin make the moves that he's recommended on behalf of the township, and you adjust the account accordingly.
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Still there.
Hey,
Yeah.
Nick, can I ask you a question?
No. But go ahead anyhow.
I'm just curious, so do we, this is more, I could maybe do it offline too, on these investments, do we have to do this annually? Or is there, cause there's a way to do like automated rebalancing, but we may have to do this annually to vote on any changes. I just wanted to ask that, could we in the future have automated rebalancing, or is that something that we vote on?
If the vote is to have an automatic rebalance, I can contact Wendy quarterly. I mean, I don't think
Okay.
it's nothing in the system that I can hit a button, it's gonna do it quarterly, but it is something that if you decide that you wanna have it done quarterly, I can contact Wendy and we can accomplish that.
Yeah, I'll talk to them about it. Sorry, I'm not there, so I don't want to add too many things, but I just wanted to explore that as an option. Okay.
All right,
Thanks.
sounds good. Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right, we're going, Kevin, you're done with us today?
I'm complete, yeah.
All right, well, thank you for coming and give us a presentation, and if you'd like to stay, you most certainly are welcome to, but you do not have to.
I'm gonna go get some dinner.
I kind of thought that.
Thank you.
All right, we got a little bit of change here in the agenda tonight. We have some ordinances under new business that we need to attend to here first. We have a court stenographer here, and we don't want to hold her up, so we're going to move those three ordinances to the top of the agenda here and take care of them right now. Well, first maybe I should do public comment. Any public comment? Public comment?
Thank you, Kevin.
All right, supervisor comments. Any supervisor comments?
Yeah, I have something. Coming up, weather coming up, keep trash cans back off the road, any vehicles, because we're gonna be maybe plowing, but probably spreading some product out on the road. So, kind of be prepared for the weather coming up this week a couple of different times.
Okay, anything else?
Nope.
All right, so we'll move on to, the new business items that are approved. A is consider a motion to adopt the ordinance change, Board of Supervisors pay rate. It's in your packet under, 12A. So if you wanna pull that out,
Mr. Barlow, I just have some exhibits to mark on that before we get into that. These are just some routine things about the publication of the notices regarding the discussion of the ordinance. This is a classified insertion order for Gettysburg Times.
I can't grab it while you're.
So this is gonna be exhibit 1, and maybe when you get a break, you can do that. This is a proof of publication affidavit, that'll be exhibit 2. And then this is a certification of service of public notice, that'll be exhibit 3. So I'll leave these up here.
okay. All right, the first one there is just talking about is the amended ordinance code of Liberty Township, County of Adams County, and Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, section 78-5. An ordinance amending the Liberty Township ordinance now known as the Code of Liberty Township 78 ETAL as thereafter amended. Specifically, Liberty Township is amending the Code of Liberty Township 75-5 to provide for an increase in compensation for newly elected supervisors. This ordinance will not go in effect until someone ran for a position and was elected to that position, and then they would fall under the new pay increase of $3,145 annually, which would come out to be, let me see where it is, $262.08 monthly, broken out over the year. So that's what the ordinance is. Do I need to read the whole ordinance?
No.
I don't think so. All right, so that's what the ordinance is. You guys have had an opportunity to review this. We're allowed to do this because under second-class code, when you hit a population under 4,999, the maximum increase is to $31.45. We have not had an increase in the supervisor's pay here for as long as I can remember, 20 years at least. So this is for newly elected supervisors moving forward. So I'll make a motion that we adopt this ordinance.
Yeah, I'll second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next ordinance is a motion to adopt orders changing elected tax collectors' pay rate in 2026.
And I have some exhibits for that as well. This will be, what do we got, 4? Exhibit 4 will be the classified insertion order for Gettysburg Times for the advertisement of the ordinance. Number 5 will be the proof of publication of legal notice for that ordinance with taxpayer compensation. And then exhibit 6 will be the certificate of service of public notice for the taxpayer ordinance.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, again, the amended the ordinance code of Liberty Township, Adams County, and Commonwealth of Pennsylvania 78-3. An ordinance amending the Liberty Township ordinance now known as the Code of Liberty Township 78 ETAL is thereafter amending, specifically Liberty Township is amending the Code of Liberty Township 78-3 to provide for the compensation for the tax collector. In this ordinance, we're increasing the tax collector's wage and commission scale to 3% per assessment bill collected. Does anyone have any questions on that?
No. I'll make a motion that we move forward.
Make a motion to adopt the ordinance.
Adopt the ordinance, yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right,
That's it for,
Yeah, we don't need up for the resolution.
oh yeah, here's the resolution.
here's my card. And
Transfer to you.
yes, with the exhibits on there, and let's see, which one, this is the, this is the supervisor compensation. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then this is the tax assessor, that's 4, 5, 6. Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
And I apologize for the confusion. Yeah,
That's
it was
all right.
just a miscommunication.
I'm told to be here, I'm here.
We're glad
That's all
you're
I
here.
know.
Thank you so much.
That's totally fine. All right, at this time, I think it's a good place for us, we need to go into an executive session to discuss, some of the matters with our attorney, and then we'll be back out. So right now, I'm calling executive session at 6:24. All right, and we'll call you, back.
Okay, thanks.
got it, I'm good.
And you have to do it even a year after you're out of office.
Yeah, I read that.
That's disgusting, I didn't even know we still had state bugs.
Yeah, isn't that something? Not as many as we had when it started.
Oh god, that is awful. It's just everywhere you turn over a picture on the wall and it's just like, what is going
Well,
on?
not to mention your clothes.
Right, they're all
I
over you.
hang it up in a can and put my shirt on, and all of a sudden it starts to stink.
Or you don't know what's on your back and you go, you sit in your
Oh,
car, you
yeah.
swished it and now you stink all day and your car. How was that? That was always fun.
Country living, don't you just know?
I remember we were living in working in Frederick, we were down 15 and, you know, you had some traffic every once in a while and you could see when the traffic was let out, they would just be on all the cars. That was when the first 2 years that we had them.
Oh, I didn't
They were
realize that.
everywhere, they were all over vehicles and everything on the highway. That was disgusting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the gypsy was in Bedford
I
in
remember.
81.
Yeah.
Oh, they had to use snow, they had to put sand on the roads. The roads are so slippery
Slippery from the guts.
from them running over.
I remember that growing up with the gypsy moms.
Oh, that was,
Huge problem.
that was not fun. I took sadistic delight in killing.
Oh, my sorry. Did you get to do that with your helicopter
Oh.
or spraying?
Ooh, did I? Matter of fact, I was flying one time. I don't know what the hell I had in my tanks, but it was good stuff.
Agent Orange?
No, that was Agent Oranges for the swamps to defoliate. Herbicide.
Oh, really?
Matter of fact, I'm applying because I was on a base where it was sprayed,
Yeah.
and so I'm gonna see if I can get some benefits.
Yeah, you should
And
definitely.
I've been trying, my sister's yelling at me. Saying, you did everything, and I said, you know,
Sometimes it's just like so stressful to go through the process to get nothing,
Hey.
a little bit,
just to get looked at, to see if I qualify or something.
right?
They don't even have a phone number in Harrisburg. I
Yeah.
gotta drive to Harrisburg. I'm doing it, I'm stubborn enough to do it. Steady. It's a 100-mile round trip. Going to Harrisburg. I know because I take inmates, release people.
Oh,
I
from
take them to the
Harrisburg?
bus stop
Oh, in your store?
in Harrisburg. Oh, goodness. And one of Susan's cats, we had to put him down to.
Oh, that's rough.
So, but I mean, it was necessary.
I
I mean,
understand.
cat hasn't been eating, has not been eating. And then we found out why. Tooth abscess, right? So I was gonna get the teeth pulled in. Well, it turns out the damn cat's got bone cancer in the jaw. And when the doc was looking at it, he broke the jaw. I'm going, hello. You know, and the cat, they called me up, the cat was still under. I says, no. Put him out, you know, that's it. There's nothing you can do.
Wake him up and then put him down.
Yeah, that's what I said, that don't make no sense.
Wake him up and he's like, my jaw!
And I had to tell,
Yeah, he doesn't even know that that happened.
Yeah, I had to tell 2 people, confirm it. The minute the friend fell and called me last night, we had to go over there, and her place is not exactly as neat as it could be, and she's a big lady.
Yeah.
And me and Kirk had to go over there and clear a path so the paramedics coming, because there was no way me and Kirk could get her off the floor. They put her on board and I went and got her. So it's been very active 2 days for me. Keep it to yourself. I have a reputation as a grumpy old man, just ask Bob. on the agenda.
Hold on a sec, he's rooting here, please.
Right here, okay. All right, we're gonna reconvene in regular session at 6:41.
6:41.
6:41.
Thank you.
All right, we'll pick up right where we left off if we could, and go to, January 6th of 2025, the reorg meeting minutes. Did everyone have an opportunity to review those minutes?
Yep.
Like I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Yep, I'll make it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, the January 6th, 2025 regular minute meetings, did everyone have an opportunity to review those, minutes?
Yep, and I'll make a motion to accept them as they are.
All right, all in favor, says aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, the, number 7, treasurer's report for January 25. Did everyone have an opportunity to read the treasurer's report that was presented to you?
I have.
Yes,
Have a motion?
so moved.
Have a second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, total expenses are A is an invoice from 1/7/2025 to 2/4/2025. Did everyone have an opportunity to look at the invoices? And if so, I'll make a motion to approve the invoices as presented.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next one on the agenda is, payroll. We have payroll there, for 12/29/2024 to 1/11/2025. Mr. Feivel, do you review the payroll?
I'll make the motion to accept it.
I'll second your motion. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, payroll for 1/12/2025 to 1/25/2025. Mr. Hill, you made, you reviewed that. Do I have a motion from you to accept it?
Motion to accept this.
I second your motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Where's police?
Oh, let's, he had to go.
Huh?
No, he did the invoices.
Yeah, I did the invoice.
Mr. Barlow, Chief DeWitt was out on a call for a fire.
All right, we'll come back to him. Mr. Gordon. All righty, how did I get all messed up here? Wait a minute, we have,
What's the problem?
in our agenda pack,
Go ahead.
9A is not here.
I never had anything
That's
for,
police department.
I had not, I
D
didn't
is
give those.
sewage enforcement.
Sewer
I
enforcement.
did not put any documents from 9A in your packet. I did not have them at the time.
Okay,
I had nothing, none of those items.
so we gotta wait for,
I don't think he has them. He said
Okay.
he gave you an
alright,
agreement.
so, 9AI, consider a motion to donate the 2016 Ford car, police car to Bendersville. I am going to, reject that, recommendation. I'll make a motion that we reject the recommendation.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The next one we have here is to consider a motion to accept the helicopter agreement. There is in your packet, the police chief put in here. It is a MMO, or Standard Operation Procedures Manual for law enforcement, for Liberty Township. One of them, is for the aviation.
Mr. Barlow, I'm sorry to interrupt. Did someone else give it to Mr. Hill? Because I didn't have that document, so I did not provide it to Mr.
Mr.
Hill.
Hill does not have it document.
Okay, just so he knows he doesn't.
I do not.
Yeah. And what I'm gonna do on both of these documents, Chris, is I'm gonna make a motion that we, turn these over to our solicitor, for review and for him, for them to, weigh in, to the legality of these particular MMOs. And then, we'll address them at our next meeting.
Fair enough, thanks.
That's a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Does that sound good to you?
Yes, definitely.
so that takes care of that. The zoning, the storm ordinance violation, I'm making an announcement tonight. We had a storm ordinance violation hearing starting on Thursday, and also on the 18th for the Risk Trail and the Strasbourg Trail area. And also at the same time, I'm going to make a motion that we move to authorize the township solicitor to take appropriate legal actions regarding the water runoff situation at 23 Strasbourg Trail. That's a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Alrighty. Alright, the road department. Alright, so the road department, we, let's see, we drove a total of, let me see here. Well, we did a lot of plowing, that's what we did. Our 133, which is our blue plow truck, plowed 622 miles for the month of January. And in the truck 161 was 824 miles driven for the month of January. We used 99.2 gallons of gasoline for the month of January. 144.8 gallons of on-road diesel. And that was all used due to the fact that we were out plowing snow under the snowstorm conditions in the month of January. Some of the other things we had going on here in January is we continued to work on the salt shed. The salt shed, as of today, is complete. We were able to get the concrete poured yesterday. The finishing was done and sealed up today, so now it has to cure for 30 days. Then we will start using the salt shed. Some of the other things we've gotten done too is we put overhead lighting in the new salt shed. And then we also, if you guys are aware of, we have a new fuel tank pad. It's ready to be set. We have scheduled for next Monday for Halls Electric to come out to unwire the existing area that the fuel pump is setting in, and we're going to be moving those fuel pumps over beside the truck bed behind the building. And then once that's done, then we'll be moving forward in February and March and assembling the old salt shed down here, section on the road, and tearing that down. So we'll be working on that for February, March, and April probably before I think we get that done. We did have some times when we were called out in the township for trees down this past week. We had 5 trees down that was out taken care of. So that's still an ongoing problem in our township with the ash trees that are dead along the road. We get a little bit of wind, heavy snow on them or whatever, and they come toppling down. We had a couple of car accidents due to the snow over on Bullfrog. I can't express enough how you should slow down when the roads are wet and slippery. Observe those posted speed limit signs. I think Bullfrog Road particularly is 35 miles an hour. And when it's snowing wet, you need to be going less than 35 miles an hour. Because that seems to be where we're having most of our accidents are on Bullfrog and on Boyle and Orchard Road. I don't know why those particular roads are the ones that seem to be the ones that have the majority of the accidents, but they're also the ones that we have most of the speeding on. So that might be a clue. Just be mindful of that when you're out. We did have some other things going on here in the township. I just lost my train of thought on that. Oh, that's what it was. The maintenance department received the speed enforcement signs here in the township. Over the last month or so, we worked on putting that signage together, getting it mounted on the pole, getting it hooked up and getting it running. If you haven't seen it, you want to see it, it's sitting right outside the door here across the street. When you come down this road, you'll see it flash how fast you're going. We put it there right now temporary to give the police department an opportunity to program and to get familiar with it before we actually put it in service.
And
And
that's all that came in.
Did you see it?
That's all I drove it.
We're going fast, okay.
Well, I was, but I was under the limit, I was still showing me, I was still going. It was like 5 miles under the limit when I was out.
And I have to recalibrate the sign.
So it is working, it is working, and that's what we're doing right now, it's in the test mode, we have not actually put it in, put it out on the roads to, be utilized yet. The police department will do that, when it suits them also, to do that. So, that's all that I have for the road department at the moment. As Bobby said, they are calling for, some weather tomorrow, some rain, sleet, some snow, into Thursday. From my understanding, they're saying that it could be nothing other than no accumulation at all. But again, if some temperature drops, that can make the roads black ice conditions, so you need to be aware of that. And then I know next week they're planning on, calling for a couple more days next week that we may have some of the same scenario. So just be mindful that we will be out, if we have to be out, to cinder the roads, and if necessary, we'll be out to plow the roads. If you see us out there, please slow down. Please don't get on the back of our trucks when we're doing snow plowing. We do stop frequently, and I do know that people like getting real close to the snow plow trucks for some reason. I don't know if they think it's going to help them with traction, but it don't. It just gets stuff thrown all over their car. So, anyhow, that being said, I'm done. I think I'm done with the road department. Is there anything else you want to add from the road
Well,
department?
I think you covered everything. You did all that.
One of the other things I want to do while I'm still here, wait a minute, let me see if it's in a different area. No, I did give the supervisors a quote from Pads Electric for $1,230. That is to come out to disconnect the fuel tanks where they're probably sitting now and rewire them up to the building with the truck bay behind the building. So again, it's $1,230. I'll make a motion that we move forward with that.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. All right, let me see. That was that one there. Road Department Planning Commission. We have Mr. Rich with us tonight. How are you doing?
I'm fine, how are you?
Good. Good to have you with us.
Last meeting, we went over the Southwest Adams Joint Comprehensive Plan. The letter dated November 4th from Rob Thielen and the planning. And we voted to accept that proposed scope of work and recommend proceeding with the commission.
Okay. Did you guys get an opportunity to look over the proposal from the board, from the planning board?
Yeah.
It's in the packet.
Yeah, 90, yeah, I already did it.
Okay. All right, but this is something that they do every so many years. I believe we're actually behind the 8 ball on this particular one here. I know I went to a couple of meetings a year or two ago in at the Adams County Conservation Center, and we talked about the Southwest Adams County plan that needed to be updated. So I'm going to make a motion that we move forward and join the Adams County Southwest Comprehensive Plan as they move forward with adopting the plan.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Alright. Treasurer Secretary report.
The only thing I have to say is that I'm still, as you know, the auditors came a few weeks ago to do the 2024 financial audit, SEK, and they are still asking for additional testing. So that's still ongoing, and they haven't closed out their audit. They have till April to close that out, so it's still ongoing.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Anybody have any questions for the Secretary Treasurer?
No.
Nope?
No.
Okay. Yeah, under old business, there's nothing under old business. We'll move over to public comment under new business. Any comments under new business? Yes.
I have a concern. I came to where, and I submitted a statement or whatever about a neighbor of mine whose trash is filled up.
Right.
and it's still there. And I think you came out, I don't know what you all did, but it's still there. And somebody's still living in the trailer. And I don't know, I saw some gentleman came there and he took several pictures. And I said, I saw him, so I went over and I said, what is this all about? And he said that he was doing something to see whether the septic or what that was going on with the septic.
Okay.
Did you all hear anything from that?
We have not heard anything back from PMCA yet, but they are doing an investigation and their findings. I believe the last time we was here too, we had a separate complaint. Did you file a separate complaint with?
I didn't see anything done on the first complaint, so I don't know
Well,
why I have to file a second.
Well, I know the first
But
one.
if I do, I'll be more than glad to file.
Yeah, the first complaint was closed. Because I
It
know,
was what?
it was closed. I know the last meeting when you were here, we told you that complaint was closed due to the PMCA went out, did their inspection, determined there was nothing that they could do at that period of time. And then the last time he was here, he said that there were still ongoing issues. If you file a second complaint, we'll send them back out again, unless he's found something. Has another complaint been filed, Wendy?
No,
No?
it's not open.
It's
No,
not
I don't
open?
have an open complaint.
Yeah, I didn't think there was an open complaint. So
Not
if
since
there's
last
still
meeting.
ongoing issues there, and you want PMCA to come back out and do further investigation, you'd have to fill out another complaint.
Well, if you keep filling out complaints and nothing getting done, I don't see the sense of filling the complaints out.
Well, unfortunately, you may feel that way, but that's the legal process, and that's the process. We
Well, I
can't,
don't know what he saw when he went out the first time.
well,
Do you have that report? What did he, what?
the only report our PMC, zoning officer reported back to us that when he went out, he did not find any violations. And we do have that.
I've got pictures right here on the phone.
Well, you can share those pictures with PMCA if you like, and certainly, you can file your second complaint, and he can even come to your house and you can show him what you got compared to what he finds, and, that's the process that we go through here. The supervisors don't really go out there and investigate those things ourselves. We have a company that we've hired, to be our zoning enforcement officer. When a complaint's filed, we submit it to them, they go out and do research, and if they come back and say that there's no, under Pennsylvania code, any violations, then that's kinda how it goes down.
Okay, well, I'll file a second complaint if I can get another one.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, that's not a problem at all.
Can I do it before I leave?
Yes, see me before, at the end of the meeting.
And I want you to
I'm
know,
leaving here at 7 o'clock, because I figured an hour is plenty. But
I was there a couple weeks ago and I drove back there. I had my wife with me and I said, I wanna look at this because I was listening to your complaint. The trash I saw was in a pickup truck. And I think there was a container with some trash bags in up against the garage. Beyond that, I didn't see anything really.
you didn't see the black garbage bags along the side of the garage as you go down the hill?
No, I didn't. No, I did not.
You want a picture of them?
No, I'll ride back and look at it myself.
Okay.
They're still there.
Yeah.
And you say someone's living in the trailer. When, are they there all the time?
Yeah, 24/7.
So at night they have lights on?
I assume they have, the trailer's behind the house.
Yeah,
They've
that's
got,
what I'm
they've
talking
got
about.
a gas, they got a propane gas tank that's hooked up,
Yeah,
that they deliver there. They also, he comes in every day around anywhere from 2:30 to 3 o'clock. Thank you. 2:30 to 3 o'clock, and he leaves at about 5:15 or 5:30 in the morning. So if you come there from 5:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon, he's not there.
mm-hmm.
What consists of people living in that place? How many hours do they have to be there before you consider they're living there?
Yeah, their address.
Their
That's
address.
their own address. That's on their license. That's their address.
Well, I bet you would look at his license, he doesn't have that on his license. Lord only knows where. I mean, you can put any address on your license, you can put a box number at a post office on your license.
Not a P.O. box.
You know, I know people that have, so,
That's a long time ago then.
well, there's a lot of changes. But there isn't any.
So you're saying after 2:30 p.m. he's gone
No.
until 5:30?
from 2:30 till 5:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
he's there.
Okay.
There's a brown, Jeep, brown and beige Jeep comes in there every day.
Alright.
And he very seldom ever leaves. Very seldom ever leaves. If he comes there at Friday evening, around 2:30, 3 o'clock, he doesn't leave until Monday morning at 5:30.
Almost sounds like a work schedule to me, but,
Well, if it's a work schedule, he's still residing there.
yeah.
How many hours is that? That's more than probably, what, 10 hours a day?
Yeah, if he lives there, and there again, it doesn't matter if he sleeps at my house, and he can still have an address there.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the way it works. But,
But I'm saying if you don't go there, if you go there from 5:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon, he's not gonna be there.
okay, I understand that. Now, since you're there at night, once again, do you see lights on that trail or anybody
The
going
trailer-
in or out?
The trailer's behind the house. So
I know where it is, yes.
I don't go around the house to look and see if there's.
Well, you're up the road there from
I'm
looking
right
down.
across,
aren't you?
I'm right across from him.
Oh, you're across from him. I
I'm
thought you were
directly
back
across.
the road.
I go, if you go back Anthony Lane, we're
Yeah.
the first driveway to the right.
Okay, I thought you were in behind. I wasn't
That-
sure.
That's another way. There's only 3 houses on that lane.
Okay.
Alright. Well, fill out the complaint there and turn it back into Wendy, and we'll turn it over to the zoning officer. And our police
Does he
chief.
get paid to do that?
Yeah, that's what he's contracted to do. We have a police chief right behind you too. We can, he's sitting there listening to it too, maybe he can take some observation, because he's also able to enforce ordinances in the township as well. We'll look into it some more and see if it's something really going on there we need to address. Okay?
Thank you.
You're most
You're
certainly welcome. Alright, any other public comment? Okay. Alright, we're gonna move on, we did A and B. We have C, consider a motion to adopt the resolution fixing the tax collectors, wait a minute.
That's correct.
We did that, didn't we?
Yeah, hang on a second.
This is for per capita.
This is for the tax collectors per capita
We took care of real
compensation.
estate.
The other one was for real estate, that had to be done by ordinance, this one here to be done by a resolution. So, is amending the ordinance code of Liberty Township, Adams County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, section 78.5. An ordinance amending, this is ordinance, amending the tax collector's ordinance known as the Code of Liberty Township 78 EAAL, as thereafter amending, well, that was already approved.
Yeah.
Let me move on.
The resolution.
That's why I'm saying.
We need to go to C.
Alright, go on, C. Alright, this is the resolution of the Board of Supervisors at Liberty Town, I put it back in the packet. Of Adams County and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. A resolution of the Board of Supervisors of Liberty Township, Adams County, Pennsylvania, fixing the compensation of the township's elected tax collector. This is the per capita. And it's gonna be also at the 3%, right?
Correct.
The 3%.
You down the bottom and
Yeah,
you're
3%, per capita tax billed collected.
And
Make a
the
motion,
And the effective date is 2026 as well.
yep, and the effective date is 2026.
Yeah.
So I make a motion that we, approve the increase at 3% for the per capita.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Sorry about that, gentlemen. So have to put your stuff back in order. You read over it again. All right, the next one is, the junk, yes. A motion to approve Piper's junkyard permit application 245 Waynesboro Pipe C, it's 25C 18-0074-000. This is a renewal permit. You have, in front of you, the inspection report that was done by Andrew Miller, our zoning officer. Make a motion that we accept the junkyard application.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, that's that one there. Is that E? Consider a motion to adopt the snow removal damage mailbox ordinance. This is not on this resolution. This is something I've been proposing for a couple of years. I know we just kind of drug our feet on getting it done, but here we are, finally got something drafted up, to do. And what this has to do with, guys, is, we, of course, when we go out and, plow snow and stuff, we try to do our best not to hit mailboxes. We're not out there, intentionally knocking mailboxes over. Unfortunately, it happens at times, especially when you have a heavy snow, and the snow, if the snow hits the mailbox or the pole and it's weak, it's gonna knock it over, probably break it off, which is not something that the township can have anything to do with. That's just a part of how snow plowing is. But actually hitting it with the plow is another whole story. So this past year last year we had a couple hit, volunteered to go out and replace the mailboxes for the people. Unfortunately, they wanted to have their own people do it, and they sent us a bill, and the bill was in excess of $300, which is way out of line. So that prompted us to do a snow removal damage mailbox policy, because we felt that was being excessive and took advantage of the township, and we can't let that be the case. So, this is the policy. So, snow removal and damage to mailbox policy to provide a fair and a uniform resolution to claims involving mailbox damage by the township's snow removal operation, and following policy concerning repair and or replacement of mailboxes is as follows. All mailboxes are to be securely fastened to the sturdy post which is firmly anchored in the ground and to resist the impact of plowed snow. Snow removal operators make every attempt to exercise care and maintain low speeds when plowing. The township will only assume responsibility for damage to a mailbox if some part of the plow or the vehicle actually hits it. The owner of the mailbox has 48 hours from the time of the end of the snow event to submit a claim to the Liberty Township for reimbursement. Claims may be submitted by email, in person, or through the township drop box. A representative from the township, which will be the road department, will be performing an inspection of the damage. If it is determined that a township plow or vehicle did indeed make direct contact with the mailbox, the claim will be honored. Claims will be denied if the mailbox was knocked over by snow or slush that was pushed by the plow. A mailbox or post will not be considered for reimbursement if the post shows any sign of dry, rot, or is otherwise unstable. Owners of the mailbox damages by direct contact by the township plow or snow removal vehicle will be reimbursed up to a $75 maximum. The cost of the new post and of the mailbox. Receipts for the new mailbox replacement must be submitted to the township. The township will not repair or replace any mailboxes or posts. That's the motion that I'm making, that we adopt the snow removal damage mailbox policy.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
You can get online, or you can get it from here. It actually has an accident report that you can fill out and submit to the township. Alrighty, and that was that one there. Alright. Consider a motion to approve the update personnel policy for call-in hours. Actually, when we were looking at this, Wendy and I was looking at the call-in hours and the hours of operation for the township. Ever since I've been here, which is since 2014, they were always paying when you were called in a minimum of 2 hours, regardless of how long. It was never in our policy. But that's been corrected. So, but the thing is, with the snowplow coming in for storms and stuff like that, being on call on the weekends and everything, we want to change the hours of pay for the road department. So the work schedule hours that I'm proposing read as follows. Work schedule for employees vary throughout the organization to meet the needs of Liberty Township. Staff needs and operations demands may necessary variations in starting and ending time, as well as variations in the total hours that may be scheduled each day or week. It is further understood that emergency and weather-related conditions might require employees to work beyond their normal scheduled hours to accommodate Liberty Township's needs. outside of the normal scheduled adjustments. Employees are expected to work during the standard work week hours, Monday through Friday from 8 to 4 p.m. Road department employees called in for work for an emergency situation, including snow removal, will receive 4 hours of pay, minimum pay. All other times when employees are requested to work on call or outside their regular hours, they will be paid a minimum of 2 hours per pay. So if you're called in to come into meetings, things like that, that's not scheduled during your work week, you'll be paid for 2 hours. No matter what variation may occur, full-time employees are responsible for working a minimum of 35 hours per week to maintain their full-time status. Do we have any questions on the revised work schedule?
No, I'll make a motion to approve it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Lady, that's that one. The next one is, agenda is on G, is consider a motion to move the Board of Supervisors August meeting to Wednesday, August the 6th, because it conflicts with the National Night Out. Does anyone have any objections, to moving the meeting to a Wednesday night, 6 o'clock?
I have none.
I have none.
I'll make a motion that we, post and advertise that the meeting for August the 6th will be moved till,
August 5th to August 6th.
to August 6th, I'm sorry, from the 5th to the 6th. All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have a second? Terry?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
You're a little slow, Chris.
Night out is.
One other thing I have on the agenda, which I skipped over, is I have been talking about these embroidered shirts for the Board of Supervisors, for a couple of years. Haven't really took a lot of action on it, so before you tonight, and one of the reasons is when we go to these conferences, or we go to meetings outside of the township, the fire companies, peace acts or whatever, that we actually have a shirt that shows that we're Liberty Township, and our name on those, instead of walking around with stupid tags that depend on the shirts. So I looked at these polo shirts and Jessica did some research. They're like $20 to $16, depending on the shirt. Do you guys have any objections to getting polo shirts for the supervisors?
I have no objections to that, but,
Oh, there's a but. They can't have no objections.
there's a lot more than $16 or $20 involved. Not that that's a big deal. You're looking at more like $50 per shirt for three supervisors. I have someone that I'd like to talk to if I can.
Okay.
I think we can get it done possibly.
You talking about the guy down there to do that?
No, I'm talking about Chris. She has a
Oh.
cricket machine.
Oh, she has a cricket machine.
Yeah,
Oh.
so she does some of that stuff.
Well, all right, so do you have any objections to moving forward with, looking at getting polo shirts, with the Liberty Township label on in the name?
No.
So we're just gonna turn, who are we gonna get to do it? All right, so I'll make a motion, we move forward in design and, getting pricing for the shirts.
Okay, and I was gonna utilize the design that Jessica gave us.
Yeah.
The only thing different would be the name,
Correct,
right?
yes.
So, and color probably doesn't matter a whole heck of a lot as far as pricing.
Yeah,
Okay,
all right, so I'll make a motion, we move forward.
all right,
Seconded?
All in favor?
aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
All right, if nothing else on the agenda tonight, I'm gonna make a motion that we adjourn the meeting at 7:15.
Go ahead, Chris.
Thank you, Kristen.
Second.
Who's
Oh, second.
Second adjournment.
Kristen?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, you guys killed it. Thank you, Chris. Hey, I'll see you on the 18th.